Okay, we are going to use our imaginations and we're going to pretend that it's the year 1903, July of 1903. And in a minute, I'm going to have you close your, it's what? Oh, happy birthday. Whose birthday? Okay. In just a minute, we're going to close our eyes for a second because right now we're in Morrisville. But we're going to close our eyes, and when we open them, you're going to be on Ellis Island near the Statue of Liberty where the immigration center was. And that's where immigrants from other countries came in order to become Americans and to enter this country. So let's close your eyes for just a minute. Close your eyes. Now you can open them, and we're in Ellis Island. No, 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 not John Mack. My name is Mack.m4v. Where am I from, you ask? I'm from Rayun, Lebanon. It's a small town in Lebanon, about 25 miles from Beirut. It took me about a month to get here to New York City. First, I had to get to Beirut. Then I took a ship to Alexandria, Egypt. Then I took another ship to the southern coast of France. Then a train all the way across France. And then a ship to America. Do I have any family, you ask? I'm talking to a clerk at the immigration center. Yes, I have a family, but I did not bring them on this trip. I have a wife, Nassim, and 5 children. Cy, Charles, Nora, Lucille, and Sophia. I missed them already, but it's going to be worth the sacrifice because I want a better life for my family in America, and it's worth it. Why do I want to come to America? Oh, I've dreamed of this country. I've heard about it from my Lebanese friends in Marion, South Carolina. And I decided this was the year, 1903, and this was the month, July, that I was coming to America. You want to know what I'll do? Well, I'm going to go to Marion, South Carolina, and start a business with my friends. But you see, I don't know what America really looks like, and my language isn't very good, and little do I know, I'm not going to end up in Marion, South Carolina. I'm going to end up in Marion, North Carolina. But I'm waiting at the train station for my friends, and they don't come. But the train master feels sorry for me, and he decides to help me and to be kind. And I learned that lesson, and I'm going to teach it to my children and their children, and then their children will teach their children, and on down to you and you and you and you and you, that helping people and being kind to others is important. But back to the story. The train master takes me, a total stranger, to his home for the night and feeds me dinner and lets me sleep there. And the next morning, he puts me on a train to Charlotte, North Carolina, because he has 2 Lebanese friends there, Mr. L.M. Joseph and Mr. F.A. Joseph. And they set me up in business. They helped me in Charlotte. And I'm going to sell merchandise by walking and carrying these big packs like this one. This is one of Mack.m4v's packs. He carries 4 at a time, 2 on his shoulder and 1 in each hand, and they are going to be heavy with all kinds of merchandise. Men's clothing, women's clothing, children's clothing, sewing notions, bed linens. This will be my life for 4 years. Walking, they didn't have cars then, carrying these packs, selling my merchandise. It's going to be hard work, but I have a goal, and that's how I'm going to accomplish it. And I will teach my children And they will teach their children, and they will teach their children, on down to you and you and you and you. Hard work is good, and it's a way to reach your goal. But back to the story. In 1907, I'm going to go back to Lebanon because I learned that my son Charles has gotten hurt. So I go back to Lebanon. But before I do, I want to keep my good name. So I return all my merchandise or I sell it. So I'll have good credit. So when I come back, I still have a good name and be able to start my business again. While I'm in Lebanon, my 6th child will be born, and her name will be Bahia. Now, Steve and I agreed that after a year, I need to go back to America. But this time, I take my 2nd oldest son, Charles, and my oldest daughter, Nora, with me. We're going to live in Mooresville for a while, but then move back to Charlotte and open our first store. But my family won't know that I'm in Charlotte. And in 1909, my son, Cy, is going to decide to come to America. But he doesn't know that we're not in Mooresville. He can't speak English. He does what I did. First, he gets to Egypt, then the ship to France, then across France on the train, then the ship to America, and then he has to somehow find his way to Charlotte. But there's no way for him to get to Mooresville till the next day. So he spends the night on the streets outside the post office because he has nowhere to go. And the next morning he was going to try to find the train to Mooresville. But guess who he runs into? One of my Lebanese friends, Mr. Joseph. And he says, your dad is in Charlotte. And he's going to bring Cy to me. So now I'll have Cy and Charles and Nora with me. And we work really hard selling our wares, going all around Charlotte and the surrounding county. But our store is going to burn. And we have no insurance. But we're not going to give up. Because Max don't do that. So we work hard. Our creditors let us have merchandise, and we pay off our debt. We work hard and pay off our debt. And that's in 1912, and what a year that's going to be. A good year because we pay off our debt. A good year because Nassim decides she and my other children will come to America. And I'm so excited. But then something happens. Nassim is on the roof of the house in Lebanon, and she falls off, and she dies from her injuries. And I won't see my wife again. But I'm going to send Charles back to get my other children and bring them to America. And when Charles finally comes back, he not only brings the children, he brings his first wife, Arita. Cy and I will decide to open a store in Mooresville. And that's where we're going to settle and stay. We are going to open John Mack.m4v on December 24th, 1912. And one year we're going to have bags to put the things in that people purchase. And the name of our store will be on the bag. Charles will work with us for several years, but then he will start his own company, Charles Mack & Son, and he'll sell many things. Candy, tobacco, all kinds of things. But one of his favorite things to do is to keep juicy fruit chewing gum in his pocket. And every time he sees a child, he reaches into his pocket and gives them some juicy fruit gum, just like this. And all of his grandchildren and nieces and nephews, they will remember that he would pass out juicy fruit gum to them. Who doesn't have some juicy fruit gum? And that's what Uncle Charlie would give out nieces, nephews, and other children too. My children will all be successful in business. So will my grandchildren. They're going to be bankers, doctors, chefs, dentists, business people, teachers, everything. Things that I won't even be able to imagine. My grandchildren will be successful, their children, and you will all be successful when you grow up. My descendants will accomplish many things, and I will be so proud of them if I could see them. And through my descendants, my family is going to grow. And there will be all kinds of last names, not just Mack. There will be Ammon. When you hear your last name, raise your hand. Ammon, Collins, Cook, Davis, Ellis, Vakori, Holiday, Eichel, Knight, Corey, Mubarak, Mate, McLaughlin, Mobley, Nichols, Perry, Powell, Rest, Robinson, Smith, Stokes, Thomason, Towns, Valley, Vance, Waters, Weaver, Williams, and oh yes, Mack. Would you say I've been daydreaming? Oh, I'm sorry. I've just been dreaming about my future in America. What did you say? I'm cleared for customs? These are my papers? I'm in America? But oh no, it says my name is John Mack. I'm Hannah for Corey. But I guess I'm John Mack now. Marion, South Carolina, here I come.